Calvin's radical simplification could perhaps be put this way: we are depraved, and thus in the work of our salvation, God does everything. Man cannot, without sacrilege, claim for himself even a crumb of righteousness, for just so much is plucked and taken away from the glory of God's righteousness. God's honor and glory is paramount. But the honor of God is attacked by the sin of Adam. God owes it to his justice and his glory to reject such creatures. But he is merciful. He gets satisfaction he must have for our sin through Christ. He works off the required punishment on him, and this allows us to be imputed just. I want to digress a moment to note here the fateful fact that Calvin, like the other reformers, casts his doctrine of our incapacity and God's remedy for it in the juridical penal framework that he takes over from Augustine and later Anselm. There is one enigma which Christians and perhaps realists of any persuasion have to recognize, and that is the puzzle of evil. Why, in spite of knowing that we are born for the highest, we sometimes not only inexplicably choose against it, but even feel that we cannot do otherwise. The symmetrical mystery, now for Christians alone, is that God can act to overcome this incapacity, the doctrine of grace. Anselm expressed this double mystery in terms of crime and punishment. The incapacity is explained as our just desert for our original falling away, which founding act remains shrouded in mystery, of course. Being inveterate sinners, we now deserve damnation. Not only is our punishment now permissible, but some has to be extracted as reparation for our fault, according to the juridical logic of this conception. God is nevertheless merciful, wants to save some of us, but in order to do this he has to have the reparation paid by his Son, and then count it as satisfaction for our sins, in an act of gratuitous mercy. Needless to say, this wasn't the only way that the double mystery could be articulated. Eastern fathers like Gregory of Nyssa put things differently. But Augustine and Anselm shaped the theology of Latin Christendom in this regard, and the Reformation, far from correcting this imbalance, aggravated it. The sense that this language, above all others, has got a lock on the mysteries is an invitation to drive its logic through to the most counterintuitive, not to say horrifying conclusions, like the doctrine of the damnation of the majority of humans, or double predestination. The confidence, not to say arrogance, with which these conclusions were drawn, anticipates and offers a model for the later humanist hostility to mystery.